Hey guys, it's Wednesday, so that means there are 32 instructional days left until K-Prep. I know that seems crazy. I can't believe where the time has gone. So we need to make sure we're showing proficient distinguished work. So everything I'm doing today needs to be on your guided notes paper as well. So we are on distance on the coordinate plane under guided notes. I know you guys have seen a coordinate plane before, and I have worked on I've already started filling mine out. So you should have quadrant 1, which is really this quadrant right here. Everything from here on. I like to remember that that is quadrant 1 because it's positive and positive. Like you always want to be first place, right? And that's positive to be in first place. So if you are in first place or number 1, you have double positives, which is that would be our x coordinate because x comes first and then y. You can also remember like the alphabet, x then y. So when you're graphing, you always want to make sure, let me clear this out, that you are doing your x coordinate first and then your y coordinate. Your x coordinate is a horizontal on the horizontal line. So just like our inequalities like we were graphing, remember they were going from, it looked just like this number line that's going straight across. And we were doing, when we were doing that, we noticed that these were positive. They were getting greater, 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 which is kind of like this symbol right here, like the arrow. And the further we got over here, they're getting less and less and less and less and less, which is like that symbol right there. So the x-axis is a horizontal line. That leaves us to the y-axis being a vertical line. It's going up and down. You can kind of remember that because the higher you go up, the more your numbers are going to increase. The further you go down, they're decreasing. So this y-axis is a vertical line. It's going up and down. Okay, so now that we have that figured out, this is quadrant 1. It is positive, positive, both x and y coordinates. This is quadrant 2, pretty much everything in here. And that is, the x coordinate is negative, the y coordinate is positive. Right below it is quadrant 3, and that is negative and negative. So the x coordinate is negative and the y coordinate. Our last coordinate is quadrant 4. It's positive, negative, which means the x coordinate is positive, the y coordinate is negative. Okay, so your graph should look like mine. It should have all of these labels that I do on mine. Right here in the middle, that's the origin. Remember, the origin is located at 0, 0. The x coordinate is 0, and the y coordinate is 0. So it's right in the middle of our coordinate plane. We're going to go ahead and get started. So down here on your table, you see line segment AB. And you have already discovered in your vocabulary section, a line segment is part of a line between two endpoints. So if it's saying point right here, we need to look for our point A and our point B. That's the line segment. This is a horizontal line. Do you notice how it's going from side to side? It's a horizontal line. Our point for A, so let's start with our first one. We're looking at, we know it's in quadrant 2. And we're going from here 0, we go -1, -2. So we know that our x coordinate is -2. And our y coordinate going up, we can count up. It's positive, so we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is -2, 8. Now we're going to look at our point B. It's our second point. And we're going to see that it is in quadrant 1. And so we know our x and y coordinates are positive. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our x coordinate would be 9. And then going up, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our y coordinate is 8. So now we're going to be able to find our distance. Now that we have located both of our points, point A and B, we can find our distance. We have done this before using bunny hop, so I am going to do that right now. I need to make it a little bit thinner. So you're just going to follow along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have connected from this endpoint all the way to my B endpoint, and I have counted 11 units in between there. So our distance would be 11 units. Okay, so we're going to take it back to absolute value. So absolute value is on your paper under the vocabulary term. It's the distance of a number from 0. So if we're looking at the endpoint A, we know it is on -2. So how far is -2 away from 0? Well, if we do our bunny hops to be able to figure that out, it should be only 2 points away from 0. If we're here, how far is it away from 0 on the x-axis? Well, it's 1, 2 points away. So absolute value is just how far a number is away from 0. So under the proof section, you're just proving your point of the distance. So you're saying, I know it's 11 units, but you're explaining me why you know that. You're proving why it's 11 units. So if I have my absolute value, I'm going to use, and I have the number, we have -2 for our x. We're going to be adding that to our x-axis point of B, which is 9 units. And when we do that, we really know that the absolute value of -2 is 2, and the absolute value of 9 is 9, so 2 plus 9 is 11, which proves our point. Okay, so I want you looking at these 2 points, A and B, and I want you seeing what do you notice so far about these. Miss Peak, if you could pause me and call on someone. So I really wanted you to notice that the y-coordinate in point A and the y-coordinate in point B are both the same. They're both 8. Another thing that is important to understand is that the x-coordinate in A and the x-coordinate in point B, they're opposite signs. When the signs are different, like they are in x, that is when you're going to add them together to find your distance. So let me repeat that. If the signs are different, we can add the absolute values to find the distance. The next line segment on our table is line segment BC. So I'm going to put a label there, B, and a label here for C. So we're finding the line segment. We need to find point B and point C. I noticed that both of these points are in quadrant 1. So I know all of my x-coordinates and all of my y-coordinates for point B and C are going to be positive. When I do that, I can count. I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my x-coordinate is 9. And then I count up to go over my y. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my y-coordinate for B is 9, 8. And honestly, I really didn't need to do that because I already found point B there. So I could have just knew that and applied my knowledge for the table. But for point C, I already said that my x-axis was 9. And when I go up on my y-axis, it's 1, 2. So it's 9, 2. That's my ordered pair for point C. To find my distance, I'm going to start here. See, I could do my bunny hop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could see that it's 6 units, but why is it 6 units? So this is a little bit different than our first one. We notice, again, this time, our x coordinates are the same. So they're both 9. And we need to think, though, since they're both the same signs, this is when we subtract. So we need to do our absolute value of 8 and our absolute value of point C. And the absolute value of 8 is 8. The absolute value of 2 is 2. So when we do 8 minus 2, we get 6 units, which is why we had 6 units there, which is why it makes sense. Which is why our answer can be reasonable, sorry. But I really also want you to notice that point B and C and point C, they create a line segment, correct? So this is a vertical line segment because it's going up and down. So our line segment is going up and down, which makes it a vertical line segment. What I want you to do for about 3 minutes, I want you to work with a buddy, your elbow partner, so the person sitting next to you, and go ahead and complete the rest of this table now that you feel like you had some time working with it. I want you looking at the bottom of your paper where it says A, B, C, D. The question for A is identify 2 points that form a vertical line segment. So that means 2 points that form a line going up and down. So an example for that would be, well, we already did B and C. Another example could maybe be point A and G. They're going up and down. Another example could be point line segment G and F, or G and E, because they're vertical. They're going up and down. They create a vertical line segment. So you would just fill in those 2 endpoints. If I chose to do B, line segment BC, then my 2 points I would put down are 9, 8 and 9, 2. Okay, part B says identify 2 points that form a horizontal line segment. So that means it needs to be going from side to side. So an endpoint that connects with another endpoint going side to side. So A and B form a line segment that is horizontal, as well as point E and point D form a line segment that is horizontal. Part C says identify a line segment that lies above the x-axis. So here is our x-axis. It wants us to find a line segment that lies above it. So point G and point C line segment, they are above x-axis, so that would work. Line segment B and C would work for this one as well because it's above the x-axis. It's above it. Point A and point G form line segment AG, and they are above the x-axis, as well as point A and point B. So your answers may vary in this case. Part D says identify a line segment that intersects the y-axis. So we need to find a line segment that intersects or crosses the y-axis. So point G and point C, they form a line segment that crosses the y-axis, as well as point F and point C form a line segment that does as well.